want to eliminate what they call the deep state. The deep state is a cadre of professionals dedicated to honoring the Constitution, the laws of this country, and carrying out the policies of the Congress and the President. The deep state dedicated to carrying out the policies of the President. The deep state dedicated to carrying out the policies of the President.
That really was Steny Hoyer, a Democrat, a Congress fossil. He's been around forever, and he's right. He's telling the truth. The deep state is dedicated to their leftist bullshit, and it's not going to end. Let's have some fun with it, folks. I want to give you the brighter side of shit hitting the fan on this glorious Thursday. I've told everyone I've run into, I feel rushed. I feel harried. I feel like I'm being picked on. I feel like I'm being picked at. I'm in a great mood, but I want to slap somebody with joy and love. Welcome to the Prepared Mind channel. If you're here, I'm going to ask you a favor. Oh, wait. If you're here live, you've already done the favor. You've signed up at the preparedmind.club and subscribestar.com. You paid the $2 or $5 or $10, whatever you did, premium to be here live and to help the show support it financially. Thank you. But if you're on YouTube watching this, I'm going to ask you a favor. Share that internet address at the top of the screen with everyone you know so they wake the fuck up. Did I say the F word? Now I feel just terrible. Terrible. No, I don't. I do not feel terrible. Now, let us have some fun, if you will. In South Carolina, the governor there has signed a bill. That's what governors do, by the way. They get statutory bills sent to them from the Assembly or Congress and then the Senate, and they sign bills. Anyways, the governor there signed a bill banning sex changes for minors in the state of South Carolina. Okay. Only evil, demented teachers and parents would push, encourage, authorize, and sneak the mutilation of children and destroy their lives. Well, I'm going to give you the brighter side of this, and I'm not making light of it, but I may as well be bright about it. That'll be less communist in our future. That's the brighter side. They won't reproduce. That's the brighter side. Let's look at the brighter side, shall we? Oh, by the way, Uman is with us. He's in a remote location in a galaxy far, far away from Chicago. I want to thank him for getting out of Chicago and going to where the sun shines and you can carry a pistol on your hip, maybe, or in your hip pocket and feel good about it. Welcome, Mr. Uman, back out of the shithole, and let's have some more fun. I'm going to give you this. Okay, you want the brighter side? Jim Comey, former lying, irresponsible, despotic sack of baloney and bull caca, right? The deplorable one himself, Jim Comey, FBI director of the Obama administration. That tells you all you need to know. The man who lied about Trump being a Russian asset. The man who allowed the Steele dossier to fall into the hands of American idiots. Ally to Hillary, freaking Hillary. Hillary Clinton let her go after she committed numerous felonies. The brighter side. Jim Comey, yeah. He says this, quote, I occasionally hear someone say, fuck you on the street. Only occasionally? Just every now and then? Well, folks, he is actually 6'6". He's as tall as me. He's larger than a skinny toothpick. He seems to be, right, a large guy, but he looks like an average Ivy League asshat, which means it'll be harder to pick him out of a crowd. But once seen for who he is, you can tell him to fuck himself, whatever you want. Only if you are brave enough and ballsy enough. I know that I would like to tell Jim Comey to eat a bag of dicks. Yes, I would. And I think Chin Music probably would. Name Redacted probably would. Ooman, if we could get into his head, he would tell us what he would say. But Ooman is he's very secretive. He can beat mind control mechanisms. He's pretty slick that way. Anyways, understand that these people probably don't admit to who they are. So Jim Comey says, yeah, people say fuck off every now and then. But do you think he stands up and goes, who do you think you're talking to? I'm Jim Comey, former FBI director. I'll have you shot in the fucking head. No, he won't. And as evidence that I think Jim Comey is a chicken shit and doesn't say, yeah, well, I'm Jim Comey and I can have you fucking greased, man. I can have your fucking kneecaps busted. I bet he's just as cowardly and chicken shit in public. Recall, folks, when Ruby Rod Rosenstein of the FBI, remember that little schmarmy, schmalzy, weaselly, big-nosed, little glasses, receding hairline sack of FBI sneakitude? He was spotted in an airport by a Prepared Mind Network member who called him out on who he was, and he denied his own name. He denied his own entity. How many little greasy worms can there that look just like Ruby Rod? Oh, and heading to Jackson Hole, where they were having a big government, international, globalist, World Economic Forum type meeting. Oh, yeah. So, Jim Comey, I can't wait to meet you in person. And the only way, folks, I will ever meet him is if they have arrested me and they've had me handcuffed to a fucking chair and a table so I can't move because they're chicken shits. All right, let us have some more fun on the brighter side of SHTF. I think this is fucking fabulous. Remember our little friend, Harrison Butker? Does everyone remember Harrison Butker? I do. I remember that little bearded guy who gave a commencement speech at a private, religious, Catholic graduation ceremony. That's right, the kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs. Kickers are not known to be 6'6", 280 pounds. They call us linemen, right? Very large, destructive pieces of flesh and bone. Kickers are small. SM all. Kickers are small. And if anyone can name where SM all comes from in the movies, that reference, you're good. Anyways, the Kansas City Chiefs quarterback, Patrick Mahomes. He's my homie. He's my homeboy, my homie. And head coach, Andy Reid. They both had something to say. Well, guess what they did? They actually came to Harrison Butker's defense. And it's about time that other real men in the NFL, if there are any, stand up and go, look, leave the fucking guy alone. He was at a religious private ceremony at a school. He can say whatever the fuck he wants. He could pronounce, right, whatever he wants. Anyways, it's about time some real men stood up. And hats off to Andy Reid. And hats off to Patrick Mahomes. And folks, I don't really give a shit about Patrick Mahomes. I don't think he's the greatest ever. I still think of quarterbacks like Namath, Johnny Unitas, right, and Joe Montana, and John Elway, and other great quarterbacks that won multiple Super Bowls. That's right. Those are the greats. Jim Plunkett. Oakland Raider. Or no, LA Raider. Please forgive me. 2 Super Bowls. These were great guys, real men. Anyways, I'm going to get into my old school bullshit. Those were some great quarterbacks. Fran Tarkenton. Anyways, Mahomes has got a ways to go. He's a great quarterback, no doubt. No doubt at all. But I still don't give a shit. You're just a fucking quarterback. Right? I have a chance in the great state of Florida to meet the GOAT himself. You know who I'm talking about, right? Tom Brady. I have a chance to meet him. I'm supposed to, at some point in the near future, be introduced to the environment and see if I can meet him. It'll be cool if I do. It'll be fun to ask him. Hey, do you feel guilty about that whole tuck rule in the Snow Bowl against the Oakland Raiders, where the whole world knew that it was bullshit and cheated, and that's how you got into that Super Bowl? It'll be fun to ask him that question in person. Or maybe I'll just be a nice guy and just leave him fucking be. All right. Well, I'm trying to keep it bright, folks. Trying to keep it funny and light. Woo! Here we go, folks. Let us go. In New York City, folks, can you believe it? A thug, murderous scumbag of a criminal decided he was going to rob a liquor store. The store owner was assaulted. He was robbed. And he ended up putting a fucking bullet in the thug. That's right. Put a bullet in him. Now, that same guy who was victimized by a guy who may have wanted to murder him, may have been in the act of murdering him. He may have been getting beaten because he was assaulted and robbed. He now may go to prison for years and years and years, all thanks to an anti-constitutional district attorney who does not believe in the right of self-defense or this thing called the Second Amendment. Shall not be infringed. The right of the people to keep and bear arms, necessary for a free state. A free means free from abuse, attack by state, foreign state, individuals, organizations, everything. That's what freedom is, folks. It's not freedom from ants or freedom from mosquitoes. It's freedom, period. Anyways, I think there's a lesson here. There's a lesson here. It's a brighter side lesson because I'm feeling optimistic and everything. Live in a state that calls heroes heroes, not criminals. They're called heroes for saving themselves, saving others, and then saving the public, the time and money that's spent convicting criminals by, instead of convicting them and this and that and court time, just erasing them off the fucking planet because they are criminals. They are murderers. And if they're not murdering today, they'll be murdering tomorrow. It's not getting better. And by the way, I brought out the coveted, glorious Horse's Ass Award. Da, 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 da. Boom, 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 boom. Da, 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 da. I had to do it. This is for James Comey, by the way. I just thought, you know what? He's such a horse's ass. And a criminal himself. They're all criminals, folks. They really are. They really are. Now, this is a good one. This is a good one. When I read this, I thought, how do I make this brighter and cheery? I can't. I really can't. The government, shall we say, bureaucrats of Germany have agreed and vowed to arrest Benjamin King Bibi Netanyahu, the Israeli state prime minister. And they'll make this arrest because the International Criminal Court has ordered it. ordered it. This is incredible, folks. Now, don't let the name fool you. The International Criminal Court. Who are they? We'll get back to that later. We'll circle back. Remember Jen Suckett Psaki? What was her name? Jen Psaki. Yeah, Jen Suckett Psaki. Speaking of horse's ass, I know how to circle back. Now, the Israeli spokesman, Hyman, was on Fox News, and he seemed to remember that Germany's Chancellor, Scholz, made a recent comparison of Hamas, the terrorists of Gaza and Palestine. He remembered that, hey, Chancellor Scholz compared Hamas to the Nazis and condemned. Hyman condemned. Hyman, he's kind of thin-skinned, and when he's gone forever. But Hyman condemned the inconsistency of this German stance on Gaza, Palestine, the terror attacks, and Hamas. No, I'm not bringing the pig out today. Sorry. I can't do it. I can't do it. I won't do it. I won't do 2 shows a night. I won't. Nope. If anyone can remember that reference, put it in the comments down below. Now, so Hyman said this. He was on Fox News. Hey, Germany's already compared the Gaza Hamas terrorists to Nazis, and now you're going to do this? So a follow-up question from me would be, because I'm a smart guy this way, if German civilians were attacked by Russia, if in Germany, German civilians were attacked by Russia, slaughtered by the thousands by Russia, and Russia kidnapped women and raped and publicly dragged them through the streets, if Russia caught German children and beheaded them, and if Russia captured German elders and held them for ransom, would Germany be justified and vindicated by attacking Russia, destroying their infrastructure, and killing all those they believed were involved? Not a bad follow-up question, would it? If I were Hyman. Once again, if Germany were involved in a terror attack by Russia, and German civilians were attacked and killed by Russia, if they were slaughtered by the thousands by Russia, and if Russia kidnapped women and then raped them and then murdered them and then publicly dragged them through the streets, if Russia captured German children and beheaded them, and if Russian captured German elders and held them for ransom, would Germany be justified and vindicated by attacking Russia, destroying Russian infrastructure, and killing all the Russians they believed were involved in this? You see, that's what Israel is doing. Now, Germany wants to claim that that's wrong to do. Well, after all, Germany has supported Ukraine, and Ukraine has destroyed Russian infrastructure. Ukraine has murdered Russian civilians, and Ukraine has attacked their militant enemy combatants everywhere they can find them. And Germany says, that's good, that's fine, that's terrific, we support you. Fuck Russia. But they won't apply that standard to Israel. So when Hyman says Germany is inconsistent, he's speaking very nicely. He's speaking very nicely. Yes, Germany's politicians are inconsistent in their stance in support of Israel. Now, I'm going to take this a little more. Furthermore, I want to start talking about the International Criminal Court. And understand the world we live in, folks. We're in a SHTF situation. We've got international organizations like the United Nations offering to take over America. We have the World Health Organization, a UN subsidiary run by terrorist Dr. Tedros. That's right, terrorist. He's a terrorist. Prove me wrong. And if I'm wrong, I'll admit it. But I'm pretty sure he belongs to a group that is a terror group. He supports terror groups. but now he's in charge of medical decisions for the World Health Organization. Really? These world organizations, they're good guys. Like the World Economic Forum wants to make farming illegal because it's so dangerous, because of cow farts and tractors and food being grown. Where are they going to get the food they're going to feed us? They want to give us chemical food. That means they got to mine it. That means they got to have even bigger tractors that dig up the earth. But that's fine. Let's feed the world chemicals and bullshit. But not food. They want to feed you bugs. They want to give you a mixture of blood, fat, and other bio-manufactured goo and call it manufactured meat, which is, by the way, in my state here in Florida, illegal to have, produce, create, sell, and distribute. You fake food people. Anyways, this is the nature of international organizations. They don't seem to be on our side. So, I want to ask this question. Is the International Criminal Court a real court of law? Or the home of true justice? Or is it a BS international body of dropout political asshats pushing a globalist woke legal scheme under the guise and color of law? Let's examine this in a way that I would call bright, and also I'll give it a fairly good peek. Did the International Criminal Court notify the sovereign nation state of Israel that there was an investigation? Did the International Criminal Court tell Israel that charges were being leveled and by whom they were being leveled? Were the sources of this information being used in this criminal investigation reliable, or were they biased and woke? Did Israel, a sovereign nation state, have the opportunity to respond to any allegations, assertions, accusations by the International Criminal Court? Did they have a chance, Israel, to provide its own allegations against their terrorist enemies that they're accused of committing international crimes against? Folks, and we all know that a prosecutor can bring false evidence, use liars for witnesses, push their bullshit agenda, and fabricative evidence, and then arrest their enemy and claim it's non-biased, authoritative, honest, and true. You know, kind of like the legal attacks on Trump in Arizona, Atlanta, Georgia, New York City, New York State, Washington, D.C., and everywhere else these cocksuckers lie. Did I say the C word? Now, folks, the International Criminal Court wants to arrest the head of a sovereign nation state, Israel, and wants to hold him hostage as a prisoner until a trial is set, and then use BS international court rules to convict him. Sorry. But as little as I care for Israel's King Bibi Netanyahu, I see a shit show of a sham here. Especially since the prosecutor's name is Khan. Does everyone remember the Star Trek movies from the 80s? Khan! That was such a good Captain Kirk, Bill Shatner line. So memorable. Khan! He went after... Khan was played by Ricardo Montalban with fine Corinthian leather. I've never been able to buy Corinthian leather. Ooh, man, have you found any Corinthian leather? He's shaking his head no.
I think you could only get Corinthian leather in Chrysler LeBarons.
That's right. The early 1980s Chrysler LeBaron.
Oh, yeah.
That's correct. Who was the man who saved Dodge and Chrysler? None other than Lee Iacocca. He started making really cheap automobiles, lowered the interest rates, gave money back, no money down. He started all that shit back then. But for the luxurious Chrysler LeBaron, he hired Ricardo Montalban from Fantasy Island because he's so effete and fucking Ricardo-like. But he was like, it's fine Corinthian leather. That's good
I
stuff.
would have liked to have seen Tattoo or whatever his name was in some of those commercials.
Tattoo was his show name. I can't remember his name. But,
I have no
Tattoo.
idea.
The plane, boss, the plane.
Like to see him in a booster seat with some pedal extenders.
Oh man, Jaime. I think was his name Jaime.
I have no idea.
Anyways, terrific guy. He made being a midget cool. He was awesome.
I guess.
Yeah. Well, he starred in The Man with the Golden Gun, James Bond movie, with a Ricardo Montalban type looking guy, but it was not Ricardo. It was a tall, skinny Christopher Lee at the time in the early 70s as the Bond villain. And his name in that was not Tattoo. It was Nick Nack. Nick Nack was his fucking name. And he was a murderous little bastard in that show. It was great. But after that, they took the Christopher Lee type character and used Ricardo Montalban and created Fantasy Island. Because in that movie, Christopher Lee had a little Fantasy Island type thing.
Oh, so that was a spinoff off of that, huh?
It wasn't really a spinoff, but they took the likeness and characterization.
Okay.
Now, of course, Tattoo in Fantasy Island wasn't a murderous little bastard. Instead, he was a very jovial little helper. What's that?
But we haven't seen the flight logs.
Yeah, we won't get the flight logs for Fantasy Island any more than we're getting the flight logs to Little St. James Island, which was Jeffrey Epstein's island. And guess what, Uman?
What?
I'm still not done talking about the International Criminal Court and Bibi and Israel and terrorists and Germany.
Okay. Then I will sign myself off and let you finish.
Allow me to continue, if you will. All right. Now, as for Germany, are they really going to try and arrest Netanyahu? Well, is it just if Netanyahu goes to Germany? Or will Germany send out bounty hunters to kidnap him and return him to the criminal court, the International Criminal Court? If so, Germany, whether Netanyahu's in Germany as the head of a state, isn't he supposed to have diplomatic immunity when he's traveling abroad? As the head of state, doesn't that person enjoy diplomatic immunity? Is the International Criminal Court above international diplomatic immunity for heads of sovereign states? They're claiming to be bigger than that? Unfucking believable. Now, be that as it may, if they're going to assume they're above all other international law, Germany wants to kidnap a head of state and either fly him out of Israel or just turn him over to a questionable, at best, questionable International Criminal Court for a trial by who? His peers? What are they going to do? What are they going to do? They're going to go to all 300 countries on the planet and make a jury pool out of the heads of state there who would be the peers of Netanyahu and select a jury? You see how comical this is? A rogue international criminal court that has no accountability. They're above all these laws if they think they can arrest somebody who has diplomatic immunity around the planet. Right? Who elected the International Criminal Court? Who appointed them? Under what fucking authority? Now, it comes down to convicting and sentencing him by whose law and whose rules? What, the Germany's rules? Israel's rules? The international rules? Whose rules? What law? Well, okay, let's just say the ICC has its own rules, its own precedent, its own laws, its own standards. What prison are they going to put him in? Or are they just going to give him a fine and release him and hope he pays the fine? Folks, in other words, what is the fucking point of this court? If not to become its own government entity its own sovereign thing that claims to be above all nations and all nations' laws and above international law itself. This is the brighter side I'm telling you about. Do we need another fucking court to enforce anti-freedom, totalitarian bullshit, globalist lies and agenda that come from not a perspective of freedom, but from a satanic, evil perspective that hates humanity's freedoms? Wow. Welcome to the brighter side of shit hitting the fan. Let's do this. Let's go to the inner circle where you get to express your opinions, thoughts, predictions, prognostications, historical references, or whatever you may that tickles the fancy of Ooman, and he'll put it up here. Let's get to it. Yeah, I'll fit your tinfoil hat, stupid fish. What do you know, man? Back in the tank. All right, let's go. Mr. Ooman. Ooman, what? Wait a moment here. Ooman says, goat or goat? Gotta ask, it is Florida, after all. Goat is greatest of all time, or goat like, bah. Now, we don't have those kind of goats here. Those goats get eaten by alligators. Alligators, big alligators. There might be goats here somewhere. I have not seen a goat since I've been in the South or in Florida. I've seen cows. I've seen horses. By the way, Florida is a huge beef state, cattle state. And surprisingly, I've been in suburban areas, suburbia, and I'm gonna lighter side. Okay, I've seen horses going down the street in suburbia, Florida. Chaps, cowboy hats, not assless chaps. These are cowboys, not fruitcakes. If you want that, you got to go to downtown St. Pete, Tampa, or Miami. Anyways, Ooman says they all hiding from Florida man. I'll tell you what, if Florida man likes goat cheese pizza and goat meat, they might want to hide from him. But in England, you brought it up, Ooman, I'm going to take you down. We're going down. In England, guess what? They have illegal immigrants who don't want to assimilate into British culture and learn the language and the law and the traditions. Instead, they capture people's cats and have been caught on the street barbecuing people's cats in England. Now, just across the waterway there, not the English Channel, but the other way to Ireland, they are publicly roasting dogs that they capture. Dogs. Dogs and cats are not food. They're pets in our culture and by our traditions and our laws. But if you're from another country, they'll eat them. Goats, on the other hand, are rather fancy. Now, Florida man may eat a goat, but the illegals would probably want to marry the goat. They would want to put on some false eyelashes like that stupid bitch up in Congress. Put some lipstick on that pig, kind of like Liz Piggy. That's right, Liz Piggy Cheney. Anyways, enough about farm animals, Democrats, and their useful idiots. Let us move on. Mr. Ooman, where shall we go next? I'm feeling rather saucy today. General Meow's chicken. Wait, go back. Let's save chin music. Save the chin music. Or was I supposed to not see General Meow's chicken? I think it's General Sow's chicken. It's General Meow's kitty cat. And isn't it Chairman Mao and General So? Is it General So? TSO? Is it So or Sao? Anyway, you look at it, I like, well, General So's chicken. It's good stuff. Kitty cat, I'll pass. Anyways, thanks, Ooman. I'm glad you're having a great day. By the way, in case anyone hadn't noticed, Ooman, I want to help remind everyone, right now is no longer in Chicago or the greater Chicago area. He's on vacation, and he's still, though he's on vacation, he's towed the Mobile Command Center, the MCC, to another state, and he's relaxing, but he has taken his personal time to be with all of us. Thank you again, Ooman. You deserve all the beer you can drink. All right. Chin Music steps in. He says, it's almost Pride Month. And fuck Joe Biden is still the best resident in Ukrainian history. The best resident or the best president? That's right. The Ukrainians, they love Biden because he keeps sending billions and tens of billions and dozens of billions, over $200 billion to Ukraine so they can lose properly to Russia. It wouldn't be nice to allow a country to fall after telling its Nazi military, the Ukraine Nazi military, to go kill all the Russian civilians they can. There was a Russian genocide in eastern Ukraine that was going on that ABC, NBC, CBS, CNBC, did I say CNN? The mainstream media, the State Department, the U.S. government, all chose to ignore what the Nazi Azov battalion was doing to Russian immigrants, Russian, shall we say, natives of the area. People who were ethnic Russians living in Ukraine were being murdered. Now, I'm not justifying anything. I'm just saying facts. When Putin came out and said they're going to denazify Ukraine, all of a sudden the world went, what is he talking about? The Nazis were defeated back in 1945. No, they're still here, folks. They're still here. They call themselves Democrats now. Yes, they do. The rhinos, they call themselves Republicans now, the Rhino Republicans. I keep hearing it, folks, coming from Americans, from, shall we say, geopolitical experts around the world. They're looking at the government system going, this is a fascist system. We need to stop lying to ourselves and pretending like we're free when we're being attacked by a fascist local and international government system. Would a real government go after a former president? Would a real government withhold national security information from the president the way the lying, cheating sack of shit General Milli Vanilli, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the man who loves to wear fishnet stockings and lipstick in uniform, that guy? Allegedly. Fuck you, Milli Vanilli. I have no respect for these people, folks, because they're not honest. They're not honest about who they are and what they're doing. The only people who are honest about what they're doing is all the fruitcakes in Pride Month, all of the butt pirates, all of them. They got their shit packed, folks. They got it together. They're the only ones who are honest. They're out there trying to condition the minds of children to accept homosexual lifestyles, homosexual attitudes, and homosexual attack in bathrooms, in public places, in their homes. They are grooming children openly with drag queens and drag queen shows. They're honest about it, at least, the fruitcakes. It's the Democrats who are supporting it and allowing it and pretending like it's just fine that are being dishonest. Why don't they just come out and say they're a bunch of pedophiles and they want to have sex with children and destroy their lives and turn them into sex toys? Because that's what they're doing, and it's obvious to me and you. Fuck Joe Biden. Yeah, he's the best president in Ukrainian history, all right. All right. Trying to keep it light, man. I'm trying to keep it light, but shit has hit the fan. It has hit the fan. Okay. Allow us to continue, if we shall. I want to make sure, see who's talking. And we got all kinds of people sending me stuff. I want to thank Michael Brown, a great supporter of the show, did a $50 Cash App super chat donation in the middle of the week. Thank you, Michael Brown. You're the man. I hope all is well. Be safe. Get prepared, man. And I sure hope you have it covered. Your 10-mile radius around where you are at. Same with you, Frank. You guys are both up there in the greater Maryland, Washington, D.C. area. That's kind of fucking crazy. All right. Badass Diving Frog says, John, China just dumped $60 billion in U.S. bonds last week. When the U.S. starts seizing Russian assets, it's all over financially. Well, they didn't just start. They've succeeded. They didn't start. They said, we're doing it. We're taking your money. That's what they do. Yes, China and Russia. Well, actually, Russia had its assets frozen. Its U.S. bonds. Its treasury bills. Right? Russia had its frozen and now seized. So where's the incentive for any country to continue to buy U.S. bonds? Now, they buy them, folks, because they get a guaranteed interest rate. Yeah, guarantees from fucking liars. That works really good, right? I guarantee that Uncle Sam in Washington, D.C. is a liar. Now, see what happens is if you buy their T-bills, their bonds, and you don't do what Uncle Sam says, they'll seize your assets. If you don't become a puppet of Washington, D.C., they'll steal your fucking money. So China looks at the United States and goes, oh, yeah? Well, fuck you. And they sell them back. They're like, hey, no more U.S. debt. Who is going to fund the United States government, folks? If you want a clue, get up out of your chair, walk across the room, find a bathroom, look in the mirror. And then I recommend taking a piss, because the sound you will hear is going to be what happens when the U.S. government looks at us and says, we need to fund upfront all government action. So we're going to have to tax you more. Maybe they'll confiscate people's wealth. Maybe they'll confiscate and cancel Social Security. Who knows what they'll do next? As for being financially over, yes, Badass Diving Frog, we are spending more money than we take in. If I did that, I would be bankrupt. I would have all of my assets, well, frozen, confiscated, and given to my creditors. The U.S. government thinks that because it has the world reserve currency that it can do whatever the fuck it wants. And it's finding out that it's losing friends, losing allies, losing confidence, losing support, losing all respect with a stuttering, stammering, incomprehensibly fucking stupid puppet Biden. I can't believe that man is the president of the United States government in Washington, D.C. That's who he's the president of, folks. He's the president of the U.S. corporation called the United States. And we, the people, are supposed to elect the president of the United States corporation that exists in Washington, D.C. only. Except now we don't even vote. Nope. You and I have our votes flipped over to the other side. You and I have our votes watered down by illegal immigrants, by people's pets voting, by dead people voting. What a country. All right, let's. I'm trying to keep it light. Mikey G says, cancel Social Security. Go time for sure. Let the games begin. Is that who the SS is we're talking? Which SS are we talking about, Mikey? The Social Security, the Secret Service, the Sunday Soup? Ah! Oh, fun times. Fun times. Okay, I've got some more stuff to talk about. Mr. Uman, I don't want to, take all the time. I had the first 31 minutes of our 60-minute show. If we've got a lot to talk about, I don't want to steal everyone's thunder in time. I'm sending you a quick message. Okay, let's roll. Bring it on, brother. Who's up next? I got name redacted. He says, they are gagging your mouth, binding your hands, poisoning you, and setting us up for famine. Well, it's funny. You say they're gagging my mouth, my hands, and poisoning me, but setting us up. I think they're gagging all of our mouths. They're silencing us as best they can. They're binding our hands, all of us. They are poisoning all of us with food and medicine. And they're setting us up for a famine by, canceling crops, claiming that farming is destroying the planet. Every city that expands, every suburb that's built, every housing development that's created, every road that is paved, everything that is cemented over, that has glass and steel and concrete as its building source, is making less room for vegetation. Farmers plant vegetation, high density vegetation that also produces food. How can that be bad? All farmers are doing is replacing what already grows there. How fucking wrong is that? It's not. The people out there that are in charge at the world level, the globalist dickheads, yeah, they are trying to kill us all. And they're poisoning us with their GMO foods and their fucking synthetic medicines. They are tying our hands, saying, hey, you can't do nothing about it. Fucking hide and watch, DC. 600 million guns out here, at least. Try me. Fucking try me. As far as gagging us, silencing us, they're also deafening us. See, free speech is as much about free speech as it is about the freedom to hear what other people have to say. This needs to be brought up in court. The right to speak is also the right to listen to what other people have to say. And if the government or anyone is silencing other people, then my rights to hear what they have to say are being violated. I have the right to make sound. I have the right to hear sound. If I don't want to hear sound, I can put on some earmuffs. I can turn off the TV. I can click off the computer. I can walk the other fucking way. People don't have a right to silence others or keep me and you from hearing. It needs to be publicly stated by some smart lawyer somewhere that says my right to hear what someone is saying trumps some other dickhead's right to complain and try and silence them. Sorry, fucknut. Leave the room, leave the building, leave the street, leave the area. Go somewhere else. Breathe, John, breathe. Oh, shit, Chin Music sent an email to me. He says, deep breaths, my man. I hear you, dude. I hear you. Good comics, by the way. I'll check them out. I'll check them out after the show. It's Thursday. It is enchilada day. I'm going to have an enchilada because I like a lot of enchiladas. All right. Thank you, Name Redacted. Great points made there. Great points indeed. Mr. Ooman. I love you, man. Chin Music says, I always ask California transplants in Texas if they like living in the U.S. Now, what you need to do, and I'm not being critical, the U.S. is Washington, D.C. That's U.S. is United States. You, my man, are in the United States of America. And there is a legitimate distinction between the two. There truly is. The United States is a legally defined term that describes Washington, D.C. Now, if they like living in the United States of America, they don't think it's as funny as I do, says Chin Music. Oh, I think it's fucking hilarious. And I am a California transplant. Now, I think you should do this, Chin. You and every other good American who lives in these United States of America, you ought to do all you can to convince and scare every transplanted asshole from California, Illinois, or New Jack, New York. Scare them. Don't brandish a weapon at them, but let them know you're carrying. Say, hey, welcome to Texas, man. I carry a pistol on me all the time. Do you like that? Do you like knowing that everyone here is carrying a pistol? We all carry pistols because Second Amendment, the right to keep and bear arms, defend one another, defend Texas. I would ask them about their loyalties. Do you swear to defend Texas? It is now your state. Let them know that they are legally obligated to protect and serve the state in times of great need, like war or invasion. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Texas has been invaded and is still being invaded. And that invasion is being allowed by Joe Biden. The federal government is refusing to do its job. Zero dark 30 this morning, which wasn't quite zero dark, but it was still morning nonetheless. I brought up the statement by Karine Jean-Pierre, the moron extraordinaire, who asked the question. Right? Why is it Biden's responsibility? Why is it Biden's job? Is it, why is he supposed to be in charge? Right? Oh, unbelievable. Unbelievable, folks. I mean, these idiot states like California, New York, Illinois. Well, Illinois, they want to change the description of criminals from offender to justice-impacted individual. Why even put in the word individual? You can't try people as a group. You have to try them individually. Now, they can all be tried using the same evidence if they were part of the same fucking crime, the same conspiracy. I don't know, like the conspiracy to frame Trump. Everyone involved is a co-conspirator, but they all get individual trials if they wish. Anyways, folks, Illinois, justice-impacted individuals. Retarded woke PC lunacy doesn't change the nature of the crime or the disposition and mental capacity of the criminal, who, as a lifelong criminal, is subject to human nature, psychology, and the effects of, their life, and it impacts the recidivism. They're fucking criminals. They're not justice impacted. You aren't impacted by justice until it nails you in the ass when you're innocent. Then it's justice impacted. Right up the old poop chute. Because that's what the government does. Hey, we've had great examples out of Washington, D.C., right there in the Senate chambers. Bunch of fudge packers slamming ham on each other. What a bunch of sick fuckheads. Anyways. I think it's pretty damn funny, Chin Music. I think it's damn funny. All right. Oh, good God. Okay, I'm gonna finish up. We got 5 minutes exactly. 5 minutes. Where do I want to go? Oh, that's cute. The brighter side of SHTF. Folks, do you remember the COVID lockdown insanity? Remember when the government told you to stay home and we all listened? And we were like, oh my God, we're all going to die from the flu. Kaiser Permanente, the healthcare assholes, one of the large national health organizations, right? Kaiser, Banner, right? Kaiser is in desperate need of doctors. So guess what they've done? They are now begging doctors who were fired because they had vaccine mandates. And these doctors said, go fuck yourselves. We're going to stay unvaccinated. So now Kaiser is begging unvaccinated doctors to come back to work for them after firing them. I'm going to call organizations like Kaiser and Banner big hospital. Big hospital. It's kind of like big tobacco and big food and big jackasses. Fuck big hospital, folks. They perpetuated the lies. They perpetuated guilt. They said, trust the science. Remember the singing and dancing nurses who were essential? They were told, yeah, come to work, be essential, while you and me were non-essential. So they made little videos of themselves singing and dancing in hospitals because no one was allowed to go to the fucking hospital because it was on lockdown. We were threatened that if we didn't take poison through a syringe, that we should be fired, canceled, required to not come out. We were told we couldn't enjoy public life, that you couldn't go to parks and beaches, that you couldn't be on the streets, that you couldn't go to stores unless you got their fucking vaccine. Remember that? Fucking hospitals fired doctors, folks. Well, they weren't letting people in the hospitals anyway. They're like, fuck it, we don't need you stupid doctors. Well, yeah, doctors make money for hospitals. And without them, you can't help patients. So you can't make money. Oh, by the way, name one disease that has been cured by Big Pharma. Name 2 diseases. Name 3 diseases that they have cured on the planet. Or do they just treat symptoms? Yeah. Fun question to ask, huh? Fun question to ask. Oh, I do want to revisit this very quickly. Merrick Garland, Attorney General, authorized the use of deadly force against Melania Trump, Barron Trump, Donald Trump, the Secret Service, Trump employees, Trump staff, Trump lawyers, anybody who got in the way during their raid, armed to the teeth, ready to shoot anybody who obstructed them. That's right. Well, he's under some heat. He's under some heat, old Merrick Garland. So now, folks, the FBI searches of Biden's home, they're trying to say that those searches at Biden's home included deadly force policy as well. All right. Bullshit and lies won't hide the treason that Merrick Garland, Joe Biden, the FBI, the Department of Justice all committed. They committed treason. Luckily, no one was murdered by them. So they're claiming that, well, no, we would have killed people at Biden's house. Really, they would have killed the fucking president of the United States if he was home when you raided his house. Bullshit. Bullshit. Show me the documents proving it. Don't cite anonymous sources, Fox News. Give me documents. We have now documents that Merrick Garland committed treason by authorizing the use of deadly force against President Trump. Fuck you, Garland. You are a sack of alleged pedo shit. Well, actually, no, Merrick Garland's son-in-law creates, prints, and distributes homosexual pornographic material to be given to children in schools. Did I read that in the news correctly? Merrick Garland, Attorney General for the United States, his son-in-law, produces, prints, and distributes pornographic homosexual material that is sent to schools. Does that make him a pedophilic sack of shit? You be the judge. You be the judge. Look at what is going on, folks. What they're doing to the kids, what they're doing to our borders, what they're doing to our money, what they're doing to our treasury, what they're doing to business, what they're doing to our energy, what they're doing to our educational system, what they are doing to the military, what they are doing to everything. The skies overhead are being polluted as they try and take our food away and say we're polluting the planet. The president of the United States put cars that cost millions of dollars into airplanes that cost billions of dollars and fly them around the world, putting tons of carbon dioxide in the air. Tons of carbon, folks, tons of carbon, while claiming that you, driving your little automobile, are evil and destroying the world. Truly, folks, truly, we've got problems, and I want you to, if you can, look on the brighter side, but be prepared. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, your plan, your 10-mile radius, get ready, because it's coming. Semper Fi. God bless America.